What is our second main topic today?
This is from LBM, who says, hey, John and crew. John, I know you don't watch the Arrowverse anymore, but did you hear that Stephen Amell is returning as Green Arrow in the Flash's final season? I absolutely love this news, and this makes me even more excited to see the Flash's final run. What are your thoughts on this? Thanks, and bring the filth on. Well, that's a way of saying it.
That's one way of saying it. All right, LBM, thanks a lot for saying that in. Okay, so listen, and as much as the Arrowverse on CW has really fallen into disarray over the last number of years, and it's kind of going out now with a bit of a whimper. The reality is, I think a few years from now, when we look back on the era of the Arrowverse, it was really quite a huge success for CW. And while not everything they did was great, they certainly had a lot of great in it. And it all started off with that show, Arrow. Arrow was a show that I thought, this is a dumb idea for a show, and it instantly won me over. It really did. Due in no small part because of good Canadian kid Stephen Amell, who kind of came into that role, and you watch Stephen Amell as that show progressed, really grow into the role, kind of took it over and became a favorite of mine. I fell away from the show because the writers really started doing a disservice to it once you got about halfway through season 3 and everything. But I loved that show. And again, in no small part because of Stephen Amell. Then they were bringing in The Flash. They were doing a spin-off The Flash, which I again said, well, this is a stupid idea. And then they brought in Grant Gustin. They introduced him on Arrow. And I'm like, you know what? I really like this show. And I got totally on board with that. The idea now that as the Arrowverse winds to a close, to bring Stephen Amell back in Flash is completely appropriate. And that's what the reports are now telling us, that Stephen Amell is coming back to do, one last hurrah as Oliver Queen in the final days of the Arrowverse. This comes to us from the folks over at Variety, who wrote the following. Stephen Amell will return one more time as Oliver Queen, aka the Green Arrow, for the 9th and final season of The Flash. Variety's confirmed the actor will appear in episode 909. As soon as our final season was announced, we knew we wanted Stephen to come back and reprise his iconic role as Oliver Queen. After all, it was Oliver who originally launched Barry Allen on his heroic path. That's why everyone on Team Flash felt so strongly that it was important to create a full circle moment with Oliver's returning in the final season of The Flash, said executive producer Eric Wallace. And again, that came to us from Variety. So the first thing we need to point out is, while, yeah, the headlines are true, Stephen Amell returns as Arrow for the final season of The Flash. It's for one episode. If you're like me, I kind of got excited because I actually started thinking for a split second about watching this season of The Flash, something I'm probably not going to do. I will watch episode 909 though. But if you're like me, you probably thought Stephen Amell's coming, he's going to be a part of the big story of the final season of Flash. Unfortunately, that is not the case. It is going to be for one episode, and apparently one episode alone. Still, that's enough to give this guy who kind of bailed on Flash a show that overall I really enjoyed. I just felt like it finished its run a year or two ago. So I have no plans on watching this season, but it's enough to get me to at least tune in to watch that episode to see not just Stephen, but to see Stephen and Grant together again on screen, because I loved for a number of years going back and watching the big Arrowverse crossovers every year until they totally blew it with their Elseworlds one, but whatever. Look, I think this is a really smart move on their part. It was Stephen's Arrow character that launched the whole Arrowverse, there could not have been a Flash show without Arrow. To have him come back is completely appropriate. And by the way, yes, full disclosure, I am a big Stephen Amell fan. I not only as a performer, but I just think the dude is a top-notch person. You can bring up that image there, Jonathan, but he has been incredibly generous coming in to. Oh, do you have my screen there?
Oh, I thought you meant, gotcha.
Yeah, so he has been over the years, he's been incredibly generous. The first time I spoke with Stephen Amell is because Ann and I were doing a little Arrow after show. This is back when I was just doing my own little YouTube channel, whatever. And I started getting people telling me in the live chat, somebody tell John Stephen Amell's trying to get a hold of him. I'm like, what? And sure enough, Stephen Amell had, I guess, put on Twitter saying, somebody tell John Campea I'm trying to reach him. So I got on Twitter, we connected, he called in on the show, and then we had him come in and we did some sit downs in the studio. He was always a super. There's Corey getting a little too friendly with Stephen, I think. By the way, Stephen, Corey, and Ann. That's Ann there as well. They were all drinking that night. Like as we were doing the show, they were all constantly doing shots. I was the only sober one. At any rate, he has always been fabulous. I've told the story before about how he took time off set to go to his trailer to record this big birthday message for Anne. He's just got that kind of character. Good Canadian kid. And so I will, of course, be tuning in to watch that episode, probably just that episode, but I'll be definitely tuning in to check him out there. Anyway, Rob, you hear about Stephen Amell coming back for one last hurrah in the Flash as it goes out. What do you think?
Who doesn't love that? Come on. I mean, why not? It ends where it began. So it's full circle. I like that. Plus, I really like his portrayal of the character. I even have a So-So Toys figure of him. Not Hot Toys never made one, but So-So Toys.
Right. What are they called again? The Green Vigilante?
Yes, the Green
Vigilante is what they call it.
Yes. And it's a great figure.
It is.
It's a great figure. And I know, but he's great. I mean, I really liked him in the role. You know, I think a lot of the CW shows outlived their welcome. You know, they kind of went a little further, but he was great in the role. And that's great that he's coming back. I think it's terrific.
Yeah, I think the fans are really going to like that. Yeah. Anyway, Aaron, you heard as one of the stars of The Flash.
Yes.
I'm just waiting for you to tell me that you are also returning to reprise your role as Block in The Flash. Is it going to be the same episode as Stephen Amell?
Yes, Stephen Amell. Actually, Arrow and Oliver Queen and Block have a passionate love affair in episode 909.
Fantastic.
Oh, wait, that's right. They killed me. Yes. We were trying to get it trending. Hashtag bring
Justice
back
for Block.
Justice
Hashtag
for
Justice
Block.
for
And then
Block.
all of a sudden, Block was my character's name in the show. And then I was like, yeah, I'm not dead. I'm just like hanging out in a hospital. And then apparently one episode, they were like, hey, whatever happened to that Block girl? And they were like, oh yeah, she's dead. Anyway, moving on. Like, darn it. But yeah, this is fantastic news. You know, we actually talked years ago on this show about how Stephen Amell was frustrated with his final scene as Oliver Queen.
Yeah, the way they wrote his ending.
Yeah, the way that they wrote it, the way that it was kind of like the last episode of the day, and he was acting opposite tennis balls because they sent all the other actors home. And, you know, that's not a great experience for any actor to have, but definitely not for your final scene as such an iconic character. So hopefully this gives him a chance to put on the suit again and to get some proper closure with that role. But also, let's face it, it's called the Arrowverse. It's not called the Flashverse. There's a reason why... even though, yes, it was the first show that launched many other shows behind it, it's not just known as the Arrowverse because of that. It's known as the Arrowverse because that really, like you said, was the thing that started it all. And I too wish that they were utilizing him for more of the season. But you know, I think it's great for fans to be. I'm going to be really interested to see who else they're going to be bringing back. Obviously not Block, but not selfishly. It'll be interesting to see what other familiar faces from the world of the Arrowverse, from the Arrowverse itself, that will be coming back to delight fans.
Yeah, and there could be a bunch of them, but I think we all agree the one they had to do is bring back Oliver. I mean, look, too, he was also, and I know some people criticized CW for this, but I thought it was the best move they could have made. They actually made Oliver the Batman of the Arrowverse. He really was the Batman. He was the one guy without powers, but that everybody else seemed to worry about. And I really like that approach that they took with him there. Anyway, it's going to be great to see him back. Question is for you guys. What do you think about this? Are you still watching Flash? Are you like me and you bailed on it a while ago? Maybe you never watched it at all. Are you interested in tuning in at least episode 909 to see Oliver and Barry reunited? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and leave us your thoughts. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, HelloFresh. Guys, you know, me and my wife, Ann, are both working professionals, and so sometimes coordinating dinner time can be a real pain. But with HelloFresh, it makes dinner time fun, easy, and nutritious. With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip those trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable, and that's why HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. Now, guys, we've all got New Year's resolutions and New Year's goals. goals, and HelloFresh is here to help you achieve them. Skip the grocery store and take control of your time and budget with delicious recipes delivered right to your door. With HelloFresh, you get fast and fresh recipes. HelloFresh's latest line of meals featuring robust flavors and filling portions are ready in less than 15 minutes. Enjoy taste and quality done quick with recipes like falafel power bowls, seared steak and potatoes with béarnaise sauce, or Southwest pork and bean burritos. So guys, go to HelloFresh.com/Campea21 and use the promo code Campea21 for 21 free meals plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/Campea21 and use the promo code Campea21.